Hey everybody, so today I want to talk about a movie called Arcadian. I'm going to try to include some clips from the movie, however the last few times I've done that, I've been hit with copyright claims, and it's a huge pain in the ass. So this movie starts off with showing Nicolas Cage kind of fleeing a city, bombs are going off, there's lots of gunfire, sirens, you don't really know exactly what's going on in the world. He stumbles upon this small building and because he hears babies crying and he finds, two babies. So he takes the two babies and ends up raising them as his own. The movie takes place probably about like 16, 17 years after the opening scene. So the boys are actually older when you get to meet them. I forget one of their names. One of them is named Joseph. That's an easy one for me to remember. The boys couldn't be any more opposite than each other. And this really is a big focal point in the movie because while they're brothers, they do not see eye to eye on a lot of things. One of them wants to stay home, keep everything safe. The other one wants to go and help out at this other farm because there's a young lady there and he's very interested in the young lady, which is makes sense because 16, 17-year-old boys are not going to want to just stay home with their brother and their dad. This movie had a very Omega Man type feeling, or for a lot of other people, it's going to be what's that one with Will Smith? I Am Legend. Took me a second to remember. So during the day, everything is fine, but at night, these creatures come out, and the way the movie starts showing the creatures is they almost seem just like they're kind of messed up humans, and the movie never actually explains what they are. And this part of the movie kind of reminded me a little bit of the first Jeepers Creepers when you see the creeper dude, and he just looks like a dude. And as the movie progresses, you find out he's this winged gargoyle demon thingy. In this movie, it starts off and they just show little snippets, and they look like humans, but you're thinking, well, maybe they were like zombie humans. No, they were something completely different. By the end of the movie, you see that they're like these pterodactyl dog werewolf thingies with these flappy jaws. They're actually like straight out of a nightmare. So the tipping point for the movie is the boys end up going on a salvage mission during the day, and one of them doesn't come home. He ends up falling into a crevice, so Nicolas Cage goes back to find him, and Nicolas Cage gets hurt. So he's pretty much sidelined for about half of the movie, which is ironic because he's the guy on the cover, and they definitely used him to get more people to watch the movie. That didn't really take away from the movie because I will say I think that the movie overall was actually really good. It was set in this dystopian future that really highlights how resilient human beings can be when we must be. After Nicolas Cage goes and finds his son and sort of rescues him, he gets really fucked up, and they try to bring him to another homestead. Well, that homestead basically says, we're not going to help you. One of you can stay, but the other one and your dad got to go. So the son that kind of likes to stay home, he goes home with his dad and puts him up and fortifies the home. But what he finds out is that these things are starting to tunnel underground. They're going to start trying to come up under the houses, and that is a terrifying prospect. While the other brother is at the other homestead, he convinces his love interest to give him some medicine so that he can go back to his dad's place. Well, as he's trying to go back to his dad's place, they accuse him of stealing the medicine, even though it was given to him freely, and they're about to torture him. In the middle of this torture, that's when these things come up underground and they start attacking. As best I can figure it is they're going after humans for a food source. More than anything, there are other animals like these farmers have a whole bunch of sheep. They don't seem to bother the sheep, which I thought was pretty odd. So I don't know if they use the humans for food or for reproduction, because there was one scene where some sort of thing comes out of this being and absorbs a woman. So, like I said, I don't know if that's maybe just how they propagate their species. It wasn't 100% clear, and that's kind of what I liked about the movie. It wasn't clear. you were left after watching this movie with a lot of questions, but not bad questions. Like, this doesn't make sense or that doesn't make sense. No, you're like, what the hell is this? What the hell is that? And that's pretty good. So they end up, as they're torturing him, the things come up out of the ground and he escapes. He and the girl get back to his actual house where his brother and his dad are. And his brother is pretty much a genius. So he's setting different traps. And we're not talking like Goonies or Home Alone style traps. No, I mean, he ends up blowing up his own house. Nicolas Cage, to give his kids a chance, goes out in just a blaze of glory. Like, he knows, he's all fucked up, but he knows if he does this, it's going to give his kids a better chance of survival. So he does it. And, it's the ultimate fantasy that I think most guys have, where you can not only go out on your own terms, but you can go out, protecting those you truly care about. So the end of the movie ends with, the two brothers and one young lady sort of talking about how they're going to go look for some other farms and hopefully, they can find them before sundown and hopefully they'll be helpful. And they're wondering if, everybody kind of got attacked at night. So that's where the movie ends. And I got to say, like I said, it was set in a dystopian world. It had some 28 Days Later, last I Am Legend kind of mishmashed together with these weird creatures. They weren't humans. They weren't werewolves. I don't know what they were. And at one point in the movie, they kind of speculate as to what they were, where they came from. And the movie doesn't exactly tell you. And I think that's great, because it could be one of those things that they were in the earth the whole time, and I think that idea is a crazy idea when you think about how deep the earth is and what could be crawling under your feet right now. If you've ever dug a trench or anything like that, you discover more and more things the deeper you go. So it is a crazy idea that just below our feet at any moment, something could crack open and try to eat us. And I think that's a really cool premise for anything. The movie overall, like I said, it was creepy. But in a good way. Left you with some questions, but in a good way. And it was Nicolas Cage, but it wasn't his typical goofiness, which I think was a great thing. If I had to give it a scale of 1 to 10, I definitely give it an easy 7 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty good movie. In order for me to give something a 10 out of 10, it's got to be, damn near a perfect movie. This was not a perfect movie, but it's a good movie. It's a good time killer. So right now it is streaming on Hulu, which means you could probably get it on Disney as well. I highly recommend it. I thought it was a really good movie and definitely a good time killer. Take care.